After your presentation,
Okay.
you'll be taking the questions from our spaces while you read.
Sure. All right. Looking forward to it. Good morning, Samuel. Glad to have you here.
Sorry. Good morning, Caroline. How are you doing? Glad to have you here too. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. Welcome to our session this morning of conversation with an alum. We have alum with us this morning, Carolyn Seaman. I'm taking our bio right away before I hand over to her to take our session. Carolyn Seaman is a lawyer with over 20 years experience advancing girls and women's rights. She's a social entrepreneur, tech evangelist, filmmaker, girl expert, founder and creative director of Girls Voices Initiative, a non-profit that educates and empowers girls and women to identify and use their voices to advocate for their rights and leverage technology and digital media to amplify their voices to wide audiences, particularly policy makers. Caroline is a Tech Women Fellow, Women Leader of the World Fellow, World Pulse Ambassador, and Advanced Digital Change Maker. Caroline was named on the 2021 Feminist 100 Women, 100 Most Influential Civil Society Leaders in Nigeria, while 107 Gender Justice Advocates, Top 21 Women Leaders to Watch in 2021, Humanitarian Awards Global Most Distinguished Women Changemaker in Africa 2020 to 2021, Nigeria's 20 Most Innovative Women in Tech, 50 Most Outstanding Female Pacesetters in Africa, Nigeria's 100 Women in Tech, and 5 Most Innovative Women in Tech in Nigeria. Please join me to welcome Carolyn Seaman this morning as she takes our session in our Conversation with an Alum series. Let's put our hands together for her.
Thank you so much.
Over to you.
Thank you for the generous introductions. Good morning, everyone. So exciting to be here. I'm not sure I can see all the spaces joining us. Thankfully, Josephine has done an exclusive introduction of all the spaces. So I welcome everyone to this beautiful conversation. It's an honor to be here. I'll just dive right in. Hopefully, I manage time as best as envisaged here. So I'll be discussing overcoming challenges, cultivating resilience in exchange programs and career development, building strength, adaptability, and growth. So just a quick introduction. As it were, I'm starting off with a quick quote. Resilience is not about avoiding adversity, but transforming it into growth. And I hope this is an opening question for us to think of your toughest challenge. Were you able to exercise resilience through that experience, or how would you best describe your experience when you look at some of the toughest challenges you've had to experience in life? Why is resilience so important? Why are we talking about resilience? For all our exchange program alums, and I believe we have some enthusiasts as well, people who are looking forward to being alumni of one exchange program or the other. Exchange participants and global professionals tend to experience some sort of culture shock, an adjustment. Many of us have had the opportunity to travel to the US and experience some form of residency program where you're there for different durations, depending on the context of your program. While Josephine was doing the introduction, she talked about me participating in the Tech Women program. The Tech Women program is a US exchange program that takes what they call emerging leaders, right? Emerging leaders across Africa, Middle and Central East Asia. And they take you to the Silicon Valley for a month, and a week at the US Department of State. So the program is funded by the US Department of State and implemented by the Institute of International Education, IIA. So it's a very intensive program that has a combination of leadership programs. It has a combination of a mentorship where you get to be mentored in a STEM company of your choice across the Silicon Valley. And then you also have to experience some form of cultural exchange, which is part of the beauty of how the exchange programs are designed, right? So within those durations, for some programs, we are in the US probably for a year, sometimes it's 6 months, depending on the duration. So a lot of participants of exchange programs tend to face that cultural shock where you're trying to adjust to the new system. Some of us travel with some level of career uncertainty, right? You're still having a lot of dreams and aspirations and finding it difficult to pinpoint on where you want to perfect your expertise and all of that. So there are certain unexpected challenges, setbacks that you're likely to encounter in the process of your exchange program. And we all know thriving abroad and in our career in general requires a lot of resilience. So when we talk of resilience, we're simply just talking about that flexibility, your capacity to adapt, to rise above challenges, to quickly bounce back from an unexpected setback that you encounter in your career, or in this case, in your in the course of your exchange program, right? So quickly, what are the common challenges that we experience in these programs? We've talked about culture shock. Some people face really intense levels of homesickness. There's a lot of work pressure, academic pressure. Many times you are thrown into this whole new civilization and way of work, and you're quickly trying to adapt. It's not like your context in Nigeria where you're working within your space or within your reality. There's certain level of expectation. You have to be on time to work. You have to catch your trains if you need to use that to get to work. You know, there's so many changes in the way things work in such economies that require a lot of flexibility and adaptation on our own part. Sometimes there's some bit of language barriers, right? Yeah, our accents are different, and sometimes you're so convinced you've expressed yourself well, and you figure out the room is still trying to figure out some of the words you've pronounced, and they're trying to really get the meat of, what they're trying to communicate or pass across. So some of those challenges are common stories that some of us have experienced in the course of our programs or in the course of our career, and opportunities where you've had to travel and exchange with different economies. There's some bit of networking struggles as well, right? Some of us are not so open. We're not easy to just connect with people and start to network smoothly. Those are challenges a lot of people face, and some sorts of identity and belonging concerns, right? Where you're trying to also define yourself within this whole new context. When we come to our career development challenges as well, there are some dynamics we face there. There's a lot of imposter syndrome, right? I'll explain a bit as we go along. For me, when I went on my exchange program at the Tech Women, I did experience some bit of imposter syndrome. There's about 110 women in the room from different parts of the world, right? And you're hearing and meeting such amazing people, and you're almost second guessing yourself and wondering whether you're the wrong person in the room. So sometimes we also face those challenges and have to rise above those challenges as well. There's a lot of job market competition, right? Many of us are in careers that are almost cutthroat competitions you have to navigate on a daily basis to emerge or build or become an expert in your area of field or in your discipline, as it were. Right? There's so much of challenge you also have to experience when we're looking at how you balance your personal and your professional growth in one. That has layers and layers of challenges when it comes to women, especially women who are having kids while they are building careers. There's a lot of pressure to build that balance across your person and your professional growth. Then you also have to deal with issues of skill gaps and confidence within your career spectrum, as it were. So trying to understand resilience, right? That ability to adapt, that ability to quickly recover, as we talked about it, to grow through those challenges, adversity, unexpected setbacks that sometimes we encounter in the course of our work or in the course of our exchange programs. It requires a lot of emotional strength. It requires sort of a different mindset, right? Where you're constantly looking towards your growth and not dwelling so much on the challenges that you have to encounter. I would quickly just talk about how we look at practical coping mechanisms, right? How do we cope through some of these challenges that can be quite overwhelming sometimes, can almost make you question why you chose a particular career path, or almost make you give up and just throw in the towel. I think I'll just highlight a few. There are so many coping mechanisms you can easily embrace. Put up on the list, build a support network. Some women have had to travel for their exchange programs, like literally after their childbirth. I remember one of the ladies in my cohort during my program had just had a 3-month-old baby and had to leave that baby back home in, I think, Turkey or so, was where she traveled from. You can imagine what being in that program was like for her. So sometimes you really have to leverage a strong support network that carries you through, supports you through all those challenges you are facing. Your support network is definitely something you have to build. For some people, it's their spouse. For some people, it's their family. For some, it's friends that are literally closer to you than your family. At the end of the day, leverage what works and supports you best to be your best, both in the workplace and in your personal life and development. It's also important for us to practice self-care and mindfulness. those are things that are not too peculiar to us in this part of the world, even though we're learning to embrace them more and more because of the realities of the world we live in today. And self-care can be anything that literally just serves you and fills you and empowers you. For some, it's just fulfilling their hobbies, watching a movie, relaxing, laughing off a comedy, hanging out with your friends, going into nature and just being one with nature and just relaxing. It could be doing yoga, it could be playing tennis, whatever serves you and refills you. Please embrace it and leverage it, especially in times where it's really, really, really tough and you need to refill yourself to be productive again, literally. Thirdly, seek mentors and peer support. Again, coming back to the whole conversation around support networks, mentors are a pillar to anything we're doing. The way mentors work in the Tech Women program, they're literally the anchor of the program. So for me, I was so blessed to have 3 mentors. I did my mentorship at Disney. I think I couldn't have asked for a better experience of my exchange program. So I had 3 mentors who were literally at my doorstep, for lack of a better word to use, and they keep supporting me. I did my exchange program in 2017, and I'm still in the WhatsApp group with my mentors and my cohort colleague with whom we were mentored at Disney. Those networks are still feeling us today. They're still where we run to for everything. In fact, sometimes you talk more about personal stuff than even work stuff, because we've really built a sisterhood that really supports us through all the challenges we have to encounter in life. So please seek mentors in the different areas where you need that support, right? Then reframe failure as feedback. That's really important. Sometimes we shoot ourselves down, we quickly give up because we feel like we failed, and there's just no getting past that setback. But we really need to tweak and see that apparent failure as a stepping stone, as a lesson, as something that helps us shape ourselves, our experience, our career a lot better moving forward, right? And set realistic goals that you can achieve, because sometimes we also overwhelm ourselves with really ambitious goals. It's good to be ambitious, but break those ambitious goals into realistic goals that help you build up systematically over time. And then celebrate small wins. I have had to learn that over the years. I'm the type of person that just wants to keep going on and on and on and on, and don't feel like there's anything worth celebrating until in your eye you feel like it's really big and worth celebrating. But I've had to learn to celebrate the small wins, celebrate the one person you've impacted, celebrate the one change you've created in the course of your work, and it makes a world of difference to keep empowering you on that journey of resilience. Okay, so strategies for our career growth. It's important we invest in continuous learning and skill building. I can't even stress that more than enough. We're so blessed. I keep telling people this is the best time to be alive and to experience life. We're surrounded by a world of opportunities, a world of learning platforms, skill building platforms. Gone are the days where you have to do a program of 3-4 years just to build a particular skill. You can literally do that in weeks, in months, thanks to a lot of platforms online, both free and paid, that give you opportunity. So we really need to invest in continuous learning and skill building. Leverage exchange experiences, right? And when we say leveraging exchange experiences, these exchange experiences are so life transforming. I keep telling people they keep on giving. As far as I'm concerned, you keep learning new things from people every day. We're so blessed not to just experience our own program in a box, but you get to return to your country and learn of something like the US government exchange program, alumni association, that now embodies different other exchange programs. So there's so much learning we can also continue to build on as we connect with each other as alumni, and network intentionally, right? Find people that literally will be your tribe, people who feel you, people who empower you, people who can add to you, people with whom you can collaborate and really continue to share the blessings of these great programs and exchange experiences that we've been opportune to have. And then personal branding and storytelling is very key, very, very key. We have to ensure that we're able to, because we are all aware that these exchange programs we've experienced is not just for us, right? It's supposed to impact our communities. We quickly learn about the power of volunteering, the power of giving back to our communities during the exchange programs. And one of the ways we can do that so powerfully well is in how we brand ourselves, is in how we tell the stories of our work to the world. So, I mean, my story is pretty simple. I came from a background with little access to technology training and skill building. My schooling was pretty fast. I didn't have the luxury of going to a computer school and all of that. I really felt disadvantaged compared to my peers in the space. I had to invest in self-learning and continuous practice, and as many exchange programs and trainings that have equipped me and given me kind of like closed the gap for me, right? From the background I came from, I've really leveraged mentors, peer supports, systems. I apply learning through all the job experiences I've experienced. They've always been stepping stones for me to build, and up until the point where I've come to this place of expertise where I'm also front line and center in giving back, right, and empowering others moving forward. And what's the outcome today? I've evolved into a tech evangelist and a leader in the tech space. I've co-founded a digital media company, founded a nonprofit that empowers adolescent girls and women to leverage tech and digital media for advocacy. So that's my story, right? From challenge to action to outcome. So key takeaways, we need to convert our challenges to opportunities. We have to really recognize resilience as a skill and continue to leverage support, that internal reflection, being grateful for the little things, the little wins, and consistently adapting to these changes as we move along, building the skills we need to empower us moving forward. Quickly, those are key takeaways, and thank you. I know I've really overshot the time, but I hope that this has been helpful. I really would appreciate taking any questions that we may have in the room. And I'll hand back over to Josephine. Thank you so much.
You are muted.
So thank you so much, Caroline. That is quite a lot. Your resume is intimidating. I'm sure that is an understatement. And I'm so sure with everybody across the nation, I'm sure a lot of the young ones too in the house will also feel the same. Thank you so much. All right, so if you have questions, please can you indicate by show of hand? Let's have your questions, and I'm sure Caroline will be so eager to answer to all of them. But while we are waiting for people to ask, I think I have some here. Yeah. Your opening statement, you said resilience is not about avoiding adversity, but about turning it into opportunities. That's just trying to rephrase that.
Yes.
So like for me, we all have people from different backgrounds and all that.
Sure.
So where one seems so battered and probably have resorted to, this is my fate and there's nothing I can do about it, and probably settled down for the bend as against understand that the movement still, the journey still goes further ahead and the person gives up. What will you say to such a person?
I'll say to such a person, please don't give up. Like literally find the strength wherever you can. But I think more importantly is that I pray that there are just some people out there who really care about you, who will go out of their way to box you out of that place of helplessness, hopelessness, and resort to fate, as it were. And I'll give you an example. Sometimes we really come to that place of really being frustrated and just giving up and throwing in the towel. So I remember when I really wanted to build my skills in filmmaking, I literally left a job without knowing what next I was going to do, and went to learn how to carry the camera, how to understand how the camera works, how to tell stories, so I could internalize it into the work that I do. Right. And by the time I got the hang of it and was a bit more confident to start to build up, the challenge was, okay, what job are you doing next? Or are you starting out on your own? And for some reason, I really just didn't have the strength to start out on my own. I didn't feel like I was the average person who could run a nonprofit of my own. It really took my husband pushing me out of that comfortable space to say, look, you have to take the bull by the horns, register the company. In fact, one day he just told me, the lawyer is coming, like prepare all the documents. So when I talk about praying that there's somebody who is going to push you out of that place of comfort where you've given up and just feel like, look, let me just get by and everybody will be fine. I really pray that you have such people in your life who can push you into your place of expertise, into your place of fulfillment, into the place where you can truly give back to your community. So yeah, a combination of both. I pray you don't give up, and I pray you have that tribe and that support system that pushes you into your place of fulfillment.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Hope that
Thank you
answered
so
your
much.
question.
Thank you. So at least I'm sure all our audience they are taking note of that you keep pushing up. So you said something that is so striking. Wherever you need to look for that strength and don't give up. All right. So I'm not seeing any hand yet. So please let me check. Let me look at the chat box if there is any question. Okay, none yet. So please let the question come in there. Let's not use this opportunity. At least I'm sure a lot of us probably will not cross paths with Caroline in a long while, or perhaps not at all. Okay, someone is asking from Benin City. I say, are you the one that chose Disney? I don't know. Yeah, she's asking, are you the one that chose Disney?
That's a very smart question. Guess what? No, I didn't. I had no idea that Disney was among the companies. So here's the thing: when you're doing the application, the moment you've been shortlisted and they are sure that you'll be traveling for the program, they send you a long list of all the companies that are participating in the Tech Women program for you to choose your top 3, right? And they advise you, make sure you're intentional. Don't just go to a company because you're fascinated by the company. Choose a company that will really serve the area that you're working. And I looked at the top 3 things I really needed. I needed a company that really understands the kind of work that I do, that I have to work with girls, that I need to be able to think about storytelling that really empowers young people, particularly adolescent girls in a context like Nigeria. So top of my head, I thought I was smart and had thought through everything. I was thinking YouTube. I think YouTube was my top choice. Then I picked Facebook, and I can't remember what my third choice was. So when my letter came and said Disney, I was like, is this a mistake? I can't remember seeing Disney on that list, And I was like, of course, that would have been number 1 if I saw Disney. But it's one thing, I think they also came on board late. So they just sent requests that sounded like they were on their radar. And that's how my application went to them. I remember asking my mentors as well. I was curious, like, what about my application, struck you the most that made you choose? So there were 2 of us in my cohort that were posted to Disney. So we asked our mentors that question on one of the sessions, that why did you choose us out of 110, applications? Maybe they didn't send, I think they told us they sent 14 applications to them to choose from. So we said, out of that, why did you choose two of us? The other colleague was from Cameroon. And they told me direct, they said, the storytelling in your essays already told us how passionate you were about this. We already understood your work. We just knew you were a perfect fit for us. So sometimes those little things we take for granted that, oh, maybe the way I'm feeling this essay is a bit too story-like, or just be honest. I remember that was the feedback I was given when I was writing my application. Be honest in your responses to those essays, present your realistic situation as it is, and be clearly articulating what you need, because that's what they go for. This person needs this, we can provide it. Tick. Right. So it was really I feel like God just directed me there because I had the time of my life. Imagine starting your mentorship with a 3 days visit to Disneyland. So you spend the weekend at Disneyland, and then yes, that was how my exchange program was. I remember returning to Silicon Valley and people were like, "Where were you guys?" And we were like, "Guess what? We were at Disneyland." We're just fortunate. We had 2 female senior VPs in Disneyland who were so excited about, women from Africa mentoring in their company, and they, from out of pocket, this was not a Disney, out of pocket, just 2 senior VPs. They sponsored us to LA, so we had to fly out while some people were doing leadership workshop. We flew out to LA, finished at Disneyland, and then they scheduled meetings for us first thing Monday morning with high-level senior officials in their LA office before we returned to Silicon Valley to continue our mentorship. So it was really, really so powerful. I was so excited. I got to meet a senior VP that was a female and from Nigeria who was working there at Disney, and it's just beautiful when you can explain your realistic context and people can give you advice that serves you the best. It comes with its challenges. There's so many trade secrets and all of that you can't properly leverage, but you truly learn as much as you can, or rather more than you can even manage part-time. But it was really a memorable experience.
Wow, that's a good one. Thank you so much. All right. So Benin, take note of that. And I'm sure whoever it is from Benin, probably you take note of what she said. Yeah. Don't underestimate those little things, little feeling, the way you also respond, just like you are doing your USP, unique selling proposition, you need to make sure it is right. You never can tell who will get hold of that. Now, a question here says, what challenges have you overcome in life and what did you learn from them?
I can't even begin to number.
Just tell us like one.
Let me share one of the ones that have really stuck with me because of how it was called out to me, right? Sometimes they are just fighting without realizing that this is really resilience at work. So I was running a social impact film project in 2019, just before the COVID. And it was a program to train young women in undergraduates in public universities in technical filmmaking, so from script writing to editing, and then we support them to write stories and produce short films around women and girls' rights issues after their training. So we were so inspired. We wanted to start it with Northern Nigeria because we felt that's where disadvantage is highest. So we selected University of Abuja, Bayero University, Kano. Abuja, pretty fine because we started out with the NUC, had gotten approvals and all of that. And Abuja gave us access. We started their program. Kano, for some reason, just became a throat in it. Was just a thorn in my flesh. First and foremost, they came up with an idea that they said all the students will have to provide written consent from their parents or their spouses. And I just lost my cool, a gender advocate. I'm like, anybody over 18 is no more a kid. They have capacity to give consent to just participate in a program, for crying out loud. This is not anything that is so major. I said, no, as a child's rights activist, I wouldn't be imposing that kind of expectation. And we don't even need that for the program. here was I debating with lawyers of the Bayero University legal system. I'm telling you, back and forth. It looked like this program was not going to hold in Kano. I pushed and fought, and, after we had to come up with an idea to work directly with the Students Association. So I think we worked with the Media and Communications Department Students Association. Thankfully, their dean was also supportive. Their head of department was also supportive of the program. So we got a couple of associations like that, their SUG and all of that. That was how we eventually implemented the project successfully in Kano. Why I shared that example was at the end of the program, remember I said they needed to produce a short film, and then they needed to screen it in communities around their school, so that they experience firsthand the impact of the work that they have done. So they had to, during their screening in their convocation square, the DVC shows up, and some high-level people in the school, they watch the film, they are so emotional, and then the DVC rises up to say, look, where's the head of this organization? And I come out and he says, Madam, this is you, only you, like this is you. I don't know what he was expecting. And his word was, you were so resilient. He said, we did everything we could to frustrate this program. Wow. But you stay through and look at the impact. We're so proud of these girls and what they've achieved. In fact, they will make a documentary for the school next time. And of course, I was insisting, make sure you pay them, because that was what we empowered them to do. But more importantly, it was how that realization hit me that, yes, we actually had other options. I remember Khan in Kano was already making a pitch, come and empower our young women. But it was that resilience and that fight. Some of those ladies today, I remember seeing one of the students from that program in Lagos. She works with budget. She handles their media. In fact, I didn't quickly recognize her. It was when she came and embraced me and said, you will remember me, I was in the class, blah, 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 blah. Here I am today. I run media at budget. And I'm like, that's good. Who would have imagined? We had so much dreams of, that program, but when those dreams hit you back, it's just such a huge awareness of how you really can't afford to give up on people, because at the end of the day, it really has a lot of impact on people that you really cannot imagine. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think we still have about 15 more minutes. Awesome. Just also to say this, most of the time we give up when we confront challenges on our visions or whatever we want to do. But we tend to forget that, like I always say, that the easiest analogy I always use is, it's only a tree that has a ripened fruit that people will throw stones at. So if you imagine that tree is human and you are throwing those stones, those wood, imagine the pain it's going through, but just because it has something that people want. So when challenges confront that vision or that desire, that should be a motivation to keep going, because there is something inside of you that the world or situations around will not want to manifest. All right, so I have one here, I think like a personal one. It says, in highly competitive job market and academic environment, how can, like I said, we have more students in the house today. How can students realistically maintain a growth mindset without feeling discouraged by comparison and or pressure?
Honestly, it's going back to how I answered that first question. Words cannot describe where you need to find that strength. It really can be hard. Let's not sugarcoat this thing. It's really hard sometimes when you find yourself in a situation where you feel like you're ready for this, you've piped up, you're pumped up, and then people just hit you, and then you go from 100 to 0 in like how many seconds? We do face those experiences. This beautiful tech women experience I'm talking about now, right in the middle of it, I also shared those imposter syndrome feelings I had. And guess what? Somebody said it to my face. One of my colleagues, one of our cohort ladies said it to my face and said, look, I've been following your work in Nigeria. Like, I know you're trying, you're doing all that. But I really don't know what you told these people. I don't know how you got this tech women program. Believe it or not. And I mean, it sounds like a small thing, but I really thought of it that so maybe I really shouldn't.
Shouldn't go exactly.
Yeah, because if even these people that were supposed to be in the same space are thinking that I'm not, we sometimes those words hit us and we really just completely give up and feel like maybe we should settle for something less. It happens every passing day in a lot of these really competitive markets where everybody's showing up and you're trying to show up and it looks like your show up is not showing up, enough to compete. It can be really hard. And that's why those support networks, I tell you, words cannot describe how there are some people that tell you something. There are some stories that come back to you and just give you strength. Even till today, there are times I face things in my work. I'm like, who sent me this work? What was I thinking? How do I think I want to deliver this thing? But just one story of change, like meeting a girl like this who was one of the programs, hearing that one of your secondary school girls that have been participating in programs has gotten a full scholarship to India. You're like, so this thing is really impacting lives, so try to leverage that feedback pool that helps you see 1, 2, 3 ways that your contribution is impactful, because sometimes you need to speak that strength back to yourself. I tell you, sometimes you have to lock yourself in the room and preach your way back, into being your full self and being productive enough to keep up at it and keep giving every day. And that's why please always refill yourselves as well. I don't know what that can be. Sometimes it's your church, it's your prayer cell, it's your friends group. Some people are in biker clubs, whatever is that circle that empowers you, where people can look you in your face, tell you when you're not doing well, tell you when you're doing well, be there for you when you need that support system. Those things really go a long way to keep.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, let's quickly take one from Uyo. So Uyo, as you step out to unmute the mic to ask your question, let me quickly also ask this. It says, what does success mean to you? And how will you know you are on the right path?
That's a very good question, especially when I talked about failure being something that you need to start looking at differently. Success, it applies to success as well. And I shared a bit of how I had to learn that. I was the kind of person that, okay, we're doing a program for 100 girls. I want to see the 100 girls on fire, like see firsthand the impact of the work that we have done for me to feel like, oh, this was really successful, at the end of the day. But I forget that people internalize things differently, right? You and I can go to a class and you can pick up everything you learned from that class literally as they're giving it to you, right? You come out of the room and you're already loaded. Somebody will take about 3-4 months to take it all in, add with other things and build up before they get there, right? So sometimes we're looking at success so front and linear that we lose sight of the impact that has been achieved, right? So it's really about breaking that thing into smaller pieces that you can consume, for lack of a better way to try to explain that. So take, for example, right there and then you can see firsthand what has worked. It's a full proof of the impact of that and the fact that it's successful. Yes, it may take some other people or some other systems or some other clients longer to pick, the impact of what you've done for them. You have to just celebrate the one that you have been able to achieve, right? So long as at least one person got it. So for me, that's how I've tried to break how I look at success. So build whatever helps you identify that. For us, sometimes it's quick surveys to check, did I just do a training for training's sake? Did people really pick something out of that? For those of us who work in the social impact space, it can be quite tricky to really explain that. Our surveys are a bit too narrow and doesn't give you enough window to get as much information as you can. So say, for example, one of the ways we do evaluation in our organization is beyond surveys, those post-evaluations we do right after project activities. We also try to have like informal conversations where you can just like gist with the girls and just hear, you know. That's where you hear the kind of feedback that you're like, why didn't you write that in the form for me, you know? But the question is, what could you have asked in the form that would actually inform them, giving you that kind of response? Because then you're able to see the other connected places you didn't even think impact will come out from, you know? So try to digest what the success you're looking for, what you are considering success to be like, into small pieces, and think of ways that you can get the feedback that helps you measure that success effectively. I mean, it's quite tricky. I hope you got a sense of what I'm trying to say, but
thank you so much.
It's
all right,
really
Uyo. Thank you so much. Uyo, unmute. Okay, yeah.
Good morning, ma. Thank you for the session. Okay, I have a friend who is very brilliant at taking JAMB for 4 times, but trying to study law, all to no avail. So how can you keep being resilient when you keep failing consecutively, despite your demonstrated efforts? How can you keep being resilient?
Thank you so much. Excellent question. I think I also experienced this growing up. So I was so fortunate. Remember, I said I didn't even have the space the way some people will have like 3, 4, 5 months. They're waiting for admission and they quickly do a computer program. I really didn't have that luxury. I was literally pushing one class into another throughout my life. And it in one way was a role, right? I remember when my younger sisters failed her JAMB and, you know, she was broken, and my mom said, go and encourage her. And I was asking her, what can I possibly say to her? As far as she's concerned, I'm the lucky one that is just flying, you know. I don't have the words to really lift her up and encourage her, because she would just feel like it's easy for me. Of course, I had to find the words to encourage her. But, you know, I'm just saying I understand what you're talking about. It's really hard sometimes. And coming back to that issue of how I was talking about, even how we look at failure, because sometimes it's so many factors, right? It doesn't mean you're dull. There could be problems here and there. Look at the sad situation we had early this year where a girl killed herself because, you know, she failed JAMB, only to find out that there was problem with the JAMB center and all of that. So there are just so many pockets of challenges, and we don't really have the luxury to understand exactly where the problem is from sometimes. So again, different things. As long as the person continues to do the best they can, do as many lessons as they can, you also want to encourage that person to try other options, right? Maybe it's an IGMB, maybe it's do something different, because sometimes you also need the strength to re-encourage you that a problem on your part, right? So let them try out an IGMB, a diploma, something else that really gives you that strength. Hopefully it's something that you can, I don't know if they still do the direct entry into the university eventually. So just leverage as many things that help you explore a different opportunity, because I mean, even our Nigerian systems have their own bucket of problems that sometimes spill on, you know, individuals and have such lasting impact on them. I remember one of our girls, one of our beneficiaries in our program, who graduated with her peers, and then this kind of situation, she had first passed her JAMB, but the situation of you and your brother cannot go at the same time, you wait, let him go first, and then she missed 1 year, then the second year her JAMB wasn't great enough, the third year, and she was beginning to feel like something is wrong with her. And I said, my darling, go and register for this other one state, the online this thing. Go and register. You know, and she started off and started doing the online degree program. Midway, her father says, no, that thing is not school as far as I'm concerned. If it's not something you're moving to the university and staying in a hostel, I don't consider it school. And I told her, I said, go ahead. And, I mean, you have to be respectful. You have to write JAMB if it says write JAMB again, but you can't just throw away the first 2 years you have already done on this online program. You know, and she writes JAMB again. I can't even remember if that JAMB results came out successful or not. But long story short, daddy even died.
Wow.
You know, this is the dad that you will have pulled out of 2 years that you had already started an online program. As I speak to you today, she has graduated law. Public admin. She has graduated public admin. She's waiting for her service. Some of the people who had gone ahead of her that she was feeling, she ended up graduating with them because of a strike and all those realities.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, do whatever provides an option that just helps you to keep moving, right? My brother studied building 5 years in the university. I just woke up one day and said, look, I want to be a pilot. Went back to school again. You know, so you can imagine if they told him you have to get JAMB and go straight into pilot, and he was waiting for donkey years, he probably will even lose the hope or the strength to even study that, right? So find an alternative, right? Try out an IGMB or something and do a different degree program or do a diploma. Advise that person to try something differently while also still doing this JAMB. Hopefully it also, I mean, I wish him all the best, but please try other options.
Thank you so much. All right, Uyo, hope you have taken note of that. Tell your friend while he's on his way, waiting to get to where he wants to go to, he should get something doing that will be of use, that will be useful to him. Okay, I think somebody from Enugu wants to ask a question.
Awesome.
Enugu, go ahead, unmute yourself, please. Your mic, please.
All right, thank you so much.
This is our diplomat in the waiting.
Awesome. Fantastic. Please shoot.
All right.
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Good morning, ma. My first question is, how do we as students balance resilience and flexibility, knowing when to push harder versus when to change direction after failure? And then my second question is, from your own journey, ma, what overlooked daily habits contributes the most of the long-term successes that we young people often ignore? Thank you, ma.
You're welcome. That's a very loaded question. So here's the thing, right? Many times we just expect that because I've had this vision that I want to be a lawyer, I've brought my 100%, I'm coming to school. You really expect that things will just go smoothly and then life starts to happen. And you have to now deal with all of these realities and challenges. Guess what? It's the beauty of life. Probably if life was just too straight, it would be too boring. So yes, it always comes with its dynamics. I sympathize with Nigerian students in some way because our academic institutions are still taking a lot of time to evolve, right? And it's so hard for you people. You were born into this whole digital world where everything is fast. There are so many options to do things, and then you have to pass through a system that expects you to go the same traditional way. So it presents a lot of challenges for you guys. I just hope that in some way, maybe students can also start to think about building systems or communities within school that particularly help you people start to build optional ways that you can keep yourself vibrant and going, right? So say, for example, that you can start to understand things like startups and how they work, pitches, alternative way to doing projects, just so that you can, will I say, satisfy that realistic context of life you have found yourselves in while navigating the traditional schools you have each found yourselves in and the way education still runs in Nigeria. Because the truth of the matter is, unfortunately, that's still where you're going to get your degree. So you still have to follow that narrow and traditional system of school the best way you can, but build systems that become your own support networks in school, right? So say, for example, some people struggle with how lectures are taught Make your own tutorial sessions a way that you understand your classes and your subjects a lot better. Think of ways where you can do pitches, within your different subjects. I remember things like moot courts and moot trials that at least I believe still happen in courses like law and stuff. Think about ways that you can integrate that to the different courses that you have in your school, just so that you have those optional ways that feel you and give you that interesting way to learn and connect the things you're learning to life, as it were. Unfortunately, we still have education that teaches you stuff that is when you come out of them, you now learn life again. At fresh, you're hardly able to internalize the thing you've learned in school straight into life, as it were. So yeah, you have to still deal with those dynamics. We have so many apps now. Your phones do 1,000,001 things these days. You have so many apps that are providing support even to you to deal with habits. So for example, time management. Look at free apps that help you manage those things a lot better. I was even telling my colleagues these days, whatever works for you, don't think something is funny. If you have to paint or rather scatter, what do they call them? Stick notes all over your cupboard in school. Whatever serves you, guy, is what you invest in, right? Think about simple things that help you keep to time. If you have a class, if you want to pace yourself when you go to read and all that, create a system that works for you and serves you. If you have to deal with habits, you have to create alternative habits that help you kill that habit you're trying to create, right? So the thing is, oh, maybe I sleep too much. What are the resources in school or communities in school that can keep me more engaged so that I sleep less? Or what if you are the type that wants to play so much you don't know when it's time to cut off and sleep? Build or look for alternative habits that better nourish you and better empower you to be an effective student and learn and meet the goals you have of graduating successfully and entering the labor market proudly.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Grant. So what I would just say in addition to that is we must be intentional. There's a place of intentionality for us to be able to be resilient, because at the end of the day, the resilience we're talking about is for you to be successful in whatever endeavor you are pursuing. Now, on the final note, I have lots of questions, but because of our time, there's a one question here. Now, what was your favorite American dish during your exchange program? I'm sure you didn't go with amala or rice, tuwo, and all that.
Actually, guess what? I was a very, very bold. My tech experience was my very first visit to the US. And I was so bold. I didn't take even pepper. Pepper that I will usually not joke with, because I would at least, I didn't take anything. I was like, we'll figure it out, right? And it's because I just have this mantra. Anywhere I find myself, there's sure to be chicken.
Exactly.
There's sure to be some form of beef. There might not be rice, but there will be an alternative that we can mix with fish and chips or something. One way or the other, we will eat. Right. So yes, and unfortunately, I don't try so many foods so well. So definitely salads worked for me. I was a bit ambitious there and tried out some salads. So yes, salads for me. I till today I don't do pizza, and I had it hard then. Yeah, because you find out they have this plan that they just assume everybody eats pizza. So we're having pizza for. I'm like, I don't eat pizza.
So what about burger?
Yeah, burger, definitely.
At least burger has a lot of beef inside as well.
And whatever you mix it with, one way or the other, we'll be able to eat it, right?
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. This is at least someone from Oka is saying thank you, man. That was a very inspiring conversation. Hello. It seems frozen. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, sorry. Yes, I can. Okay, yeah. I said thank you so much. It's been an honor.
Thank you so much. This is sincerely quite a conversation with an alum. We are so grateful. And we probably hope that one of these days you'll get selected maybe to go for an IVLP, maybe. like as a top up.
Top up.
At least you're doing so well in your space. Thank you so much. So at this point, I want to hand over to back to my colleague Josephine. Thank you so much.
Thank you to all the best to the students. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Caroline.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
So with this, we have come to the end of the program this morning, and this is the last of our network program for this year. We look forward to a wonderful year in the year 2026, and we know that we are going to have more engaging sessions and educative sessions. So with this, we say bye to everyone. Have a nice Christmas and a happy new year. Thank you, Caroline. See you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.